Hey, how are you going? Welcome to Extra Healthy-ish, the big sister podcast to Healthy-ish. Both podcasts are from Body+Soul, and I'm your host, Felicity Harley. Now, here at Body+Soul, at Extra Healthy-ish, we know health, fitness, and wellness is really important to you, but we also know you like to have fun. So we've designed this week's episodes with a special festive season flavour. Yes, we're helping you survive Christmas with your health intact. Nutritionist and best-selling author Michele Chevalley Hedge is here today to help you navigate Christmas Day and how to eat healthy when the odds are stacked against you. Michele, thank you so much for coming on Extra Healthy-ish. Now, I have to ask you, I ask you this question every time, but I'm asking you with a different spin this time. How do you stay extra healthy-ish over the Christmas period?
Right. Okay. So I always am about this same thing, whether it's Christmas, Easter, or every time. And I find the pillars of well-being are the common threads in most people who are truly healthy. They protect their sleep, their food, their exercise, and their stress hacks with their lives. They do not compromise. So you'll find me during the Christmas season indulging in all of the indulgences that there are, but I'll slip away and go to sleep a little bit early because I know that protects me. And when I sleep well, I tend not to binge on food the next day. And I also tend to have enough oomph in me where I exercise. So I always try to keep those four things in sort of the forefront of my mind, even when I do have a little bit too much food and a little bit too much alcohol. I try to really protect those things, particularly sleep.
Oh, sleep. If your sleep's not right, then everything else goes AWOL, right?
Yeah. Absolutely. I always say sleep has the biggest knock-on effect to all of the things that we value.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, let's talk about Christmas lunch, Christmas dinner. What's a healthy and nutritious Christmas dinner? What does it look like? Paint us a bit of a picture, i.e., should we go for the turkey or the ham?
Okay, so I always say that's really very dependent on the individual, right? So people who are in their 20s, like my children, I want them to be indulging in all the stuffing and the rolls and the things that their bodies can tolerate and their bodies can withstand those extra calories, right? However, for someone, particularly for the listeners on this podcast, for women who are in their 30s, 40s, 50s, not everybody, I'm stereotyping a little bit.
And we do have some men, I have to say, we do have some male listeners.
Yeah. So for those of us whose metabolism is not as rocking as much as those in their 20s, right? Having those extra portions of protein rather than those starchy carbs will be the trick to keeping our weight in balance, right? So I may be consuming second helpings, which I always am actually consuming second helpings, but you'll see on my plate, it'll always be a second helping of something with protein. So it could be turkey, it could be ham. In fact, Felicity, I feel like I'm often the person that is consuming the most food, but the healthier versions of choices, right? So I'll always have triple versions of beans. Like people look at my plate all the time. They're like, wow, Michele, you must be hungry. And I'm like, oh, I love food. So I'll be like a big amount of turkey or ham, and there'll be lots of cauliflower, there'll be the beans. I never put myself in deprivation because I believe those people that put themselves in deprivation, those are the people that go crazy on the pavlova and crazy for the chocolate and go crazy binging on the sugar, right? No, nourish yourself and feel good about that.
Yeah. So what should we do about dessert? I mean, obviously fruit salad is best, but come on, it's Christmas Day.
Absolutely. And this is such a key message here. Go for a bit of pav, go for a bit of the apple pie, go for a bit of the cheesecake, have little bits and tastes of everything. And when you do, be in it and enjoy it and be present and love every second of it. And this is the biggest message of all, Felicity. #no guilt.
Yes.
Enjoy it. And no, you cannot fail at this thing called good nutrition. So if you have this completely indulgent night, let's say you have one of every bit of those desserts and you have one too many cocktails. The next day, wake up and go, Right, that's okay. I'm not going to beat myself up. I'm going to start my day with this high protein breakfast, drink lots of water today, go for a good walk. I'm going to deal with this hangover, flush it out, and I'm back on track. But those people that beat themselves up and then put themselves into deprivation the next day, that's when we start the spiraling self-sabotage and all these things that we need to get over.
We'll be back after this short break with more from Michele. I mean, what if we do overeat? I mean, I have to say I'm a bit guilty of just saying, oh, who cares about Christmas Day? I'm just eating whatever. And I always end up on the couch in a bit of a food coma and actually feel really gross.
Maybe you have to unbuckle your pants a little bit.
Oh, yeah, and some.
Yeah, exactly.
What should we do here if we do feel like we've overeaten and, we feel yuck?
I just think one is don't beat yourself up and just remember in your mind's eye that it only takes 24, 48 hours of sort of cleanish eating, exercise, fresh air, and lots of water the next day. And you'll de-bloat. Our bodies are good at that. We have to trust our bodies. Our bodies like to come back to feeling that vibrancy and feeling that healthiness. So I say, wake up the next day, start your day with a clean breakfast. So by clean, I mean a clean protein, maybe a smart carb, like maybe some roast vegetables from the night before, or a good quality piece of bread, and some avocado. So you've got a fat, you've got a protein, you've got a smart carb, lots of water, give yourself some green tea, get some fresh air, some sunshine. And so what happens is when we start to move back into that healthy space, it's sort of addictive. It's like, okay, I did that. I beat myself up last night. It was okay. Had a good time. And today I'm just going to get back into it.
Yeah, great advice. What about if we drink too much? What do we do? Have you got any hangover cures?
Yes. So I think one thing about indulging a little bit too much for alcohol, which again, this a nutritionist occasionally does, right? I come from the big, crazy Italian family. We like martinis as much as we like.
I love that, Michele. I love that the shit is real.
Yeah, it's real. So here's a great tip. I love this tip. When you've had maybe one too many alcoholic beverages, I want you to have 2 fish oils before you go to bed.
Oh, I haven't heard that before.
Yeah. So lots of people will have 2 Panadols or Nurofen before they go to bed, but they forget that fish oil is a natural anti-inflammatory, right? So 2 fish oils and a glass of water before you go to bed. So I love that. Also, during this silly season, maybe let's say there's a bit of indulgence from, let's say, December 20th to January 3rd. Let's say after that, you do a little bit of kindness to your liver. So there's great herbs out there called St. Mary's thistle that is just a great gentle nudge on your liver going, okay, liver, I've beaten you up a little bit. Now I'm going to look after you. I'm going to have like a week of, looking at some of these herbs. Just always check on if you're taking any medications to take St. Mary's thistle, because the body is sensitive and the liver sensitive, but also not eating high brassica vegetables like broccoli, cauliflower, Brussels sprouts. They're what we call our brassica vegetables, and they are our natural liver cleansers. So people ask me all the time, oh, Michele, do I have to take a liver cleansing supplement? No, because our bodies like to cleanse naturally. So trust that our bodies like to come back to that space, and that we can come back to that space pretty easily. And it's okay to indulge every once in a while.
And I think that's a good point. I mean, our bodies are designed to detox, aren't they? That's what your liver for and your kidneys. And our bodies are wonderful in that way. And we just have to trust them.
Yeah, for sure. I always, when I talk about this kind of stuff, Felicity, I talk about our bodies naturally like to cleanse, because whenever I'm talking to a journalist and they go, so Michele, tell us about the detox thing that you do. And I go, detox is all about stripping back and about starving and about like wanting to chew your fingers off. I want to talk about nourishment. I want to talk about adding so much good in that you forget about the junk of the past.
I think we define the word detox I think marketing has probably contributed to that, probably media as well. I'll put my hand up, after running women's health for many years. But I do feel like we've changed the definition of detox, where detox should be about, cleansing your body naturally and with good foods. And somehow we've made it about drinking disgusting juices and what have you.
Right? Yes, exactly. And Felicity, I'll just leave on this note. I think you may remember my younger brother died a couple of years ago. And so I wrote the book, Eat, Drink, and Still Shrink, because as he said, he was dying of cancer, and he said, Shelley, you know what? I'm not going to drink these green drinks. You're going to have a glass of Pinot Noir. I'm going to have some Budweisers. And that's a good way to go out.
Oh, I love that.
Now,
right? Just finally, what does your Christmas day look like?
Oh, it is going to be so full of lots of hugging. So I do this quirky thing with my kids, even though they're adults now. I make them all wear Christmas pajamas and have a sleepover with us. Even the dog has the same pajamas, Felicity.
Oh, I love that.
And then we start the morning with breakfast and just flop around. We might walk, we might sail. We're probably going to eat too much. We're probably going to have maybe a little bit too much to drink. And then we're going to worry about cleaning up those indulgences later on. But really, really, really deeply connecting with people, particularly this Christmas for all of us.
Great advice.
Yeah,
absolutely. Michele, well, wishing you a Merry Christmas, and thank you again for coming on Extra Healthy-ish.
Oh, thank you, Felicity. Enjoy your Christmas.
Well, good luck with that Christmas food coma. I don't know about you, but on Christmas Day, it's just all out. No rules. I'll deal with it on Boxing Day. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this episode with Michele. If you want more from us, make sure you download other episodes of Extra Healthy-ish or Healthy-ish, our other podcast, our little sister podcast as we call it. You can also find out some fabulous health, fitness and nutrition advice on bodyandsoul.com.au, or join the conversation via Body and Soul on Instagram or Facebook. Thanks again for tuning in. And if you have a moment, we'd be so grateful if you could rate, review and subscribe to this podcast. And from us at Body and Soul at Extra Healthy-ish, have a fun, festive season.